Montreal Protocol – Control of Substances. A key factor contributing to the remarkable success of the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer is the country-driven approach promoted by the Executive Committee of the Protocol's Multilateral Fund. This approach places the National Ozone Unit at the center of all actions to protect the ozone layer and climate. The National Ozone Unit of Sri Lanka is attached to the Ministry of Environment. It is responsible for implementing the Montreal Protocol at the national level. The National Ozone Unit is responsible for the national management of substances that are controlled under the Montreal Protocol, substances that deplete the ozone layer and some of their alternatives contributing to global warming. To prepare the country for the enforcement of controls on these substances, the National Ozone Unit develops awareness-raising campaigns, leads capacity-building programs for key stakeholders, and strengthens processes to facilitate enforcement and compliance. To establish control measures for these substances, the national consumption is initially monitored to establish a baseline quantitative level of consumption from which the gradual reduction shall be benchmarked. Thereafter, the annual maximum allowable consumption quantity will be maintained stable for a few years and then gradually reduced. The control measures can lead to a phase down or a total phase out. Phase out refers to a 100% consumption reduction and therefore a production and import ban at the end of the timeline. It is the case for CFCs and HCFCs. Phase down is applicable in situations where alternatives are not fully available yet. Therefore, production and consumption will be reduced to the maximum possible extent by the end of the timeline. It is the case of HFCs. The National Ozone Unit is responsible to report the annual consumption data of the substances controlled under the Montreal Protocol. The country's compliance is assessed based on the reported data. The Montreal Protocol is a binding agreement, and if the country is non-compliant, it will have to face consequences. Think globally, act locally.